Hello, friends, enemies, anybody who happens to be watching this on YouTube today. Number one, thank you for watching. I know I'm a very small channel and I don't have a lot of output as of yet, but I just watched Thunderbolts and I have something that's weighing on my mind. I had been familiar with the events that occurred in the Disney Plus show with John Walker. I think it was Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I believe. Either way, long story short, spoilers for Avengers and that Disney Plus show if you care. But long story short, when Cap went back in time to finish some stuff, he came back as an old man and he retired himself, and he gave Steve Rogers, Captain America, that guy, he gave his shield to his best friend Sam. Now, Sam is Falcon and was Falcon at this time, and then when it went into Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the show, he completely basically kind of spat in Steve's face when Steve told him he was the one that needed to have the shield, and he gave the shield up to the American government. Now, it's not news to a lot of people that Disney writers are essentially tone deaf and they are horrendously out of touch with how people feel. Their cookie cutter, I hate this word, but woke takes are at best out of touch, at worst completely disingenuous, and trying to capture a cultural movement that I believe they, number one, don't believe in, and number two, just use as a sort of a marketing technique. Sort of like, hey, we hear a lot of you believe this. I would like to essentially get your views by showing some of your talking points in this show. So there are instances in Falcon and the Winter Soldier where Falcon tells the senator to stop calling the Flag Smashers terrorists. And there are a few scenes where he and Bucky are like Mean Girl style, you can't sit with us, to the new Captain America, who is John Walker, appointed by the US government. Now, for a long time in this show, John Walker does not have a super soldier serum. And you can see him fighting beside Bucky and Falcon. Falcon, who has this like nanotech amazing suit that is basically an Iron Man suit with actual wings, but has all these crazy powers. And Bucky, who we know about Bucky from Captain America and the Winter Soldier. He's basically super strong and super good with weapons. And he's very tactical, not necessarily a great planner as I saw in the Thunderbolts, but he's very smart as far as combat goes. And John Walker was holding his own easily with these two with no super soldier serum. It was only later in the show that he took it. So the controversy surrounding John Walker is that he murdered an innocent man. All of those are in quotation marks or air quotes because none of that is true about John Walker. John Walker's best friend in the show Falcon and the Winter Soldier, his name is Lamar, and his superhero name, even though he has no superpowers or super soldier serum, is Battlestar. And he and John Walker served together, and I mean, this doesn't matter at all, but this guy was a black guy. The only reason I bring that up is because I believe when they were disgracing John Walker and humiliating him for killing this terrorist who was the innocent man, they sort of paint him out to be like this bloodthirsty cop, like on a rampage, power tripping, whatever. And I really don't like police, but John Walker didn't have that energy at all. He had the energy of a combat veteran who was trying his best to work with the people that work with Sam, number one, because he was originally given the shield by Captain America, and John Walker holds a lot of respect for him for that. And working with Bucky because he knows what Bucky is, and you know how hard Bucky's worked and how much he's had to overcome. So anyway, they kind of mean girl style, like I said, fuck with John Walker, and he's like, you can't sit with us, and kind of don't associate with him, despite the fact that if they had listened to him in the beginning of the show about taking out the Flag Smashers, then his friend wouldn't have died. But anyway, these terrorists, who, mind you, all have super soldier serum, they are called the Flag Smashers, and they do things like blow up hospitals, kill civilians, and all around they're horrible people. They have no redeeming qualities. Their goal as an organization is very muddy. It doesn't seem like they have any conviction toward achieving that actual goal. They only have sort of an ideal that's still very cloudy and underwritten, but essentially they're sort of meant to be in place of like Antifa, I suppose, except they all have super soldier serum, and they pose an extremely severe and active threat to not only civilians, but to Bucky, to Sam, and John Walker. So, like I said, John Walker didn't take the serum for a while, and he vowed to always protect his best friend Lamar. Well, the leader of the terrorist organization, this ginger girl, punches Lamar really hard against a column, which, by the way, they've been trying to kill Sam, Bucky, and John Walker this entire series, and Battlestar, or John's best friend. So she punches him, and he hits a column, and he dies because she's a super soldier. And there was a guy also trying to hold down John Walker so that they could get a final killing blow on him. However, they didn't achieve this. He sort of went full rage mode after they killed his best friend Lamar, or Battlestar, whichever you prefer, and they sort of started to see what kind of situation they were in with John Walker and how bad they had fucked up. So they start basically running, and John Walker catches up with the guy who was holding him down because the woman basically fled and was nowhere to be found. But the person that John Walker does keep pursuit with is the guy who's trying to hold him down and kill him just moments ago. Every single thing he does while on this chase, the terrorist, every single thing he does is in an attempt to kill John Walker. None of these people know that John Walker has taken the super soldier serum yet. So everything they do, like throwing concrete trash cans at him and things like that, are meant to kill him. They are actively still trying to kill him. And until John Walker literally pinned this guy to the ground, he was still getting up, still trying to kill him, still trying to fucking kill this guy. So John Walker puts him on the steps in front of a fountain, I believe it was. It was either a fountain or a statue, I forget. And he slams his shield into this guy until he dies. Which is exactly, I'm sorry. Kobe, stop. That's my little doggy. He's a sweet. Kobe! Son! Quit. Anyway, so, and that's not going to be cut out. I don't usually edit my videos. I try to keep them like, just kind of flow of thought. So anyway, yeah, he kills this guy with Captain America's shield, and it is a completely justified instance of self-defense. And even after they take his shield from him, he decides to work with Bucky and Sam to take down the rest of the terrorist organization. Now, Sam is just a complete smooth brain through this entire series. Like, he didn't do anything special for Lamar, but the leading terrorist woman who killed, hundreds of civilians and burned down buildings and things of that nature, which burned down hospitals, by the way. He gives her like this carry down in his flight suit, just descending slowly. Like, it's just such a sad thing that this murdering psychopath is dead, which is absolutely insane. And then, there are more scenes in the show. I believe I already mentioned one of them, but basically where he's like, you need to do better, Senator, and stop calling them terrorists. They are terrorists. And the senator was doing the best he could to get people who were displaced by the snap and lost the ways that they relied on to make money. The senator's trying, but it's a very extremely hard process to get refugees from other countries to fund what you need to fund after an apocalyptic event like the snap. Hold on, I'm gonna have to just give me a moment. I'm just gonna have to shut the blinds. I don't know what he's barking. Oh, it's a dog. Okay, well, that's going to make it darker in here than I would like, but that was a necessary situation. So, fast forward to the Thunderbolts. Now, John Walker is kind of a lovely himbo sort of fella. He's just a sweet kind of guy. Now, I mean, he is a little bit of a cocky asshole sometimes, but that's his imperfection, basically. He's a little bit of a cocky asshole, but he's not a bad person whatsoever. He has the same amount of like snark that Yelena has, or the ghost girl Ava. He has the same amount of snark as everybody on the team, yet I think it's played as if he has more, or his snark is not justified and theirs is. I think the movie is kind of perfect because it starts out like that, but once John Walker sort of proves that he is on their side and there to help them, that they actually tone it down and they're a lot nicer to him, and they seem to be the only people who ever give him close to the amount of respect that he deserves. So in this movie, you know, he keeps Bucky Barnes from dying. He helps the entire team. Even after, you know, being forced to relive a moment where his wife took his child and left him because he wasn't paying enough attention to the baby. All he was supposed to be doing was watching the baby, and he was literally a foot away from the crib, could hear everything, and was reading articles on his phone, and his wife was like very upset about that, very irate, and I couldn't really understand that. I think everybody is just mean to this guy for no reason whatsoever. Yelena, when she's roasting everybody toward the end of Thunderbolts, including herself, she says to John Walker, no, I don't have to tell you you're a piece of trash, John. You know that, and so does your family. And he was like, Jesus Christ. And it was uncalled for. But my point of this whole thing is that John Walker is the reason that humanity is still alive. Because without him, without the whole team of the Thunderbolts, but without him taking everything they dished out to him on the chin and continuing to be a good member of the team, without every part of that team, humanity would have collapsed under the power of the Void, which is Sentry's, the other half of Sentry. I think his last name is Reynolds, but Robert Reynolds, or Bob, as he's affectionately referred to in the movie, is Sentry. And Sentry is essentially two characters in one because of Bob's bipolar, as it's kind of portrayed in the movie, but I believe in the comics he actually has schizophrenia. Anyway, he was a drug addict, and so the serum amplifies a lot that's inside of you. So it amplified the hero inside of Bob, who was very, very present, but it also amplified this horrible piece of him called the Void. And the Void, I said John, but Bob, the Void is its own entity now, after the Sentry Project has come through. So the Void is this character that's basically nothing. It thrives on anger, loneliness, shame, guilt, everything. And it tries to make you relive those moments and drive yourself into a hole where you feel like you'll never be able to get out. And the Void kind of feasts on this. It sustains him. It is sustenance for him. And Bob is just a nice guy who wants to do the right thing and has never been put in a position of power. He has always been hurt or abused or had mental health issues and never once got proper treatment for it because of poverty, an abusive life as a child, and the fact that the only things that ever seemed to make him feel better were drugs, particularly meth, and he just kind of got hooked on it, which a lot of people who have had hard lives turn to addiction. And this was something that I've experienced. This movie, Thunderbolts, was so very personal to me. Hey, buddy, you want to be in the video? This is Kobe. He's my best buddy. He's very sweet. But yeah, this movie really recognized me, I felt, because I felt like Bob at many points in my life. I never did meth, but I did painkillers for a long time in my life. And that was mostly because of physical pain as well as mental pain. I never knew what it was like before I started taking opioids. Mostly hydrocodone pills and oxycodone pills. Those are the only two I ever did. I didn't do fentanyl or heroin or any of that. But it made me feel strong. It made me feel active. It made me feel more outgoing, and I can understand getting addicted to something. So I understand Bob, and I understand that loneliness, that emptiness, that self-blame, that guilt that he felt. I felt that, and it was tough watching this movie. I don't ever try not to cry during movies. That's something I never do. If I want to cry, if there's no better place, in my opinion, to cry than in a movie theater, because, or watching a movie alone at your house, which I had to do because I had to buy it on YouTube. It was out of theaters by the time I really got around to wanting to watch it. But basically, yeah, it brought a tear to my eye because I felt so represented. And had I been the one to take the Century Project serum and be the sole survivor of it, it would have likely done the same thing to me. I have bipolar 1, and I have extreme anxiety episodes. I have a prescription for Xanax, which keeps my mania in check along with my anxiety. And then I actually self-administered a psilocybin treatment back in 2023, and I am 2 years depression-free thanks to that miracle cure for my bipolar depression. It was so bad by the time I tried it. I was willing to try anything because I was on the verge of committing, but that brought me back from that and saved my life. So I really resonated with Bob, and I understood who he was, and I loved his character. But the standout character in this movie, besides Yelena, is absolutely, unequivocally John Walker. He displays feats that are more impressive than we've ever seen Steve Rogers do. He has seemingly faster response time than Steve Rogers as far as like reacting to attacks. He just seems outright stronger than Steve Rogers. And, you know, he might not be so pure of will that he could lift Mjolnir like Steve did. But as far as superheroes go, he is just as good, if not better, than Steve Rogers' Captain America. And I'm fine with him being called U.S. agent because there's probably not another person that can replace Steve Rogers. And Sam certainly isn't doing it, you know. Whatever that movie was where he fought the Red Hulk, that was terrible. I don't even remember the name of the movie. It was awful. And, you know, it's just, to me, that's just how it's always going to be with Sam. He's not a good character. He's stupid, and he's used as a self-insert for the opinions of the writers or what the writers feel should be their opinions and the opinions of the audience. It's not truth and justice and the American way. I think that's Superman. But whatever Captain America's slogan was, it's not that either. It's just, I'm going to be a pretentious asshole, and I'm going to treat, you know, this guy named John Walker like complete trash, even though he doesn't deserve it. And he's tried his best, and he's saved multiple people, won 3 medals of honor, and is a decorated and incredible combat veteran. You know, it says a lot when I'm coming on here to defend this man, because the only other character in fiction that I've felt has needed more defending or an equal amount of defending is Soldier Boy from The Boys. And I think both of those characters, Soldier Boy and John Walker, suffer from the problem is that the writers wanted them to be bad. They wanted them to appear as evil. However, they fumbled it completely. You know, Soldier Boy is never shown in one instance on screen being a racist, yet it's heavily implied throughout the whole show when people talk about him that he is. And the most I can discern from that is it's just a flat out lie. He is not a racist. He never does a single racist thing. He never shows more hostility towards black people than he does white people, which people with power absolutely do. Just take a look at police. Soldier Boy did nothing wrong. And I want to say that John Walker absolutely did nothing wrong. I say Soldier Boy did nothing wrong, but he's done a few wrong things. John Walker hasn't. John Walker has been steady, good John Walker. He's not an anti-hero, he's just a hero. And I'm sick of all the John Walker slander. A lot of people are coming around to recognize how great of a character John Walker is. And I really hope that he's not killed off in some cheap and ridiculous way, because we love him too much. Like we loved Soldier Boy too much. And now they're probably going to try to push the racism narrative down everybody's throat about Soldier Boy. But that's just not who he is. You know, the only time you can see him even looking at a black guy weird is when a black guy and a white guy are in an interracial gay relationship and they're kissing in the middle of the street. And all he does, no joke, he just looks and he's like, and keeps going. He's just surprised. You didn't see that a lot the last time he was walking around the streets in the 80s and such. So, anyway, I just want to wrap that up there. It's about as short as I can make this flow of thought type of video without getting too boring. But John Walker is a hero. He never showed us otherwise. He is just a fantastic hero, and he deserves all the respect and accolades that one could possibly give a hero. So, if this were the real world, I salute you, Mr. Walker. But I forget the name of his actor. But I salute him too, because he does a fantastic job, and I feel like he is going to hopefully get his own movie where we can really dissect who he is and what makes him the way he is and all the tragedy that he's experienced. I'd like to see, some footage of him in the wars and such before he was ever given the shield or, any serum. And yeah, I just want to see all that because I love John Walker. He's currently my favorite MCU character, with Yelena as a very close second, and Bob as a third, followed by Alexei Shishtakov, who is Yelena's dad, and the Red Guardian. I love him very much as well. So, thank you for listening, friends. Comment down below. Tell me what you think about John Walker and the comparison I made between him and Soldier Boy, or any part of this video that you just want to discuss. I will comment back. This is a very small channel, and I'm not necessarily trying to get followers. I just wanted to post this video. So, if you want to talk to me about it, that's kind of what I want to do. I just want to have a discussion with y'all. If you disagree with me, that's fine. Let me know why. Maybe we can talk it out, have a cute little discussion in the comment section. I'm sorry, I keep itching my nose. It's been like really bad allergies. Man, I'm just like itching. I don't know if it's this new fabric softener I'm using or what. But anyway, thank you so much. Have a great day. Kobe, can you say bye? Kobe says bye. And peace and blessings to all y'all. Much love. Yeah, he's wanting to say bye. Say bye, buddy. And yeah, peace and blessings to everybody. I hope everybody's having a good day. If you're not, feel free to comment that underneath too. I'll talk to you about your day. I'm actually a licensed counselor, so I would be happy to do that. All right. Thank you. Bye.